Hi, Chef Ivorito here. Today we are fabricating flatfish, flat technique. We got a fun creature here today. You might notice a pointy face, kind of pointed fins, and it comes back to a point. We call this diamond shape. This particular diamond shape has its gut cavity here, swimming away from you. You'll notice it's right-eyed. This is a flounder. This particular flounder has light spots on it, but if you turn it over, it looks like someone took a highlighter to it. This is a yellowtail flounder, very prolific from the coasts of Maine or Canada all the way down to New York. Very local flounder, also sometimes referred to as the benchmark of all flounders. Let me show you a quite easy way. If fish come in and they have the heads on and you don't want to deal with it, excuse me, I like to take the fish, swim it towards me, dorsal on my cutting hand side, stomach away from it in case the guts are in it. Put the knife up against the collarbone, cut, go through like cutting a piece of pie, put your knife down, come to the edge of the table, twist, and pull. If the viscera or guts were in it, they'd come out with the head. We'll discard that. We'll make sure our board is clean. Our fish is nice and dry. We don't want it sliding around on us. And I'm going to swim the fish away from me. On this cut, I will use my flexible fillet knife. I will locate my lateral line, which you may notice sometimes has a bend. Do not follow the bend. It should be above the spine, and you'll put the length of the knife on it. Extend the tip so it's past the gut cavity. Draw your knife down the lateral line, not to the left of it, not to the right of it, all the way through. Ideally, you split the tail. You feel the spine. Cylindrical, but you're on the top half, so it feels like a speed bump. I believe in cutting high side to low side, outside to inside. This is the fillet I'm taking. Knife tip on the left side of the fillet, 45 degrees, and just release the meat from the spine. Feels like a little xylophone. You'll start in the tail, flexing vertically against the spine for maximum yield. Scoop it down, ride the bones out. Assess your work. Do you see bones? Great. If not, go deeper. And then keep moving up. Cutting flex, flap, and out on each cut until you get to the end. So we'll take our first fillet off. This is referred to as a quarter fillet. And then we'll gently swim the fish towards us because we always want to cut towards us. And we're going to start in the back. This time releasing it off the spine. Always towards us, releasing it off the frame. Always away from us. Take this fish, we're going to follow through all the way to the tail. If you have an egg sac or roe sac, that can be removed. We'll lay this down, pigment side down first, the heavier side. Gently turn our fish over and start with it swimming away from you again. With a clean blade, start with the length of the knife on the fish. Tighten up the skin and come all the way down. Feel for your spine. Release the meat off the spine towards you, and then release the meat or flesh off of the frame away from you. This will give you 4 quarter fillets. You'll notice that the ventral or belly side fillets are smaller. So if I was doing 2 people for dinner, I'd give one person a belly and dorsal and the other person a belly and dorsal, so they have the same size portions. Many yellowtail are really good for doing single fish per person, but if you're going to do a multi-course meal, then I would consider filleting and doing the 2 fillets, the 2 quarter fillets per person. So we're going to get in there, all the way out. We have our fillets. So we have our smaller, thinner, more delicate blindside fillets and our pigmented ones. When we go to skin this, we're going to start with a clean table. And we're going to take these fillets one at a time. I believe in using the chef knife in the beginning until you get more proficient. We're going to run our fingers between the beginning of the fins and the fillets. If you feel a little bone, it'll make your life easier to get underneath it. shave it off so you don't have any hindrances when you're skinning your fillet. Run our fingers through there, double check all of them. Start in the tail with the tip of your knife and wiggle it down till you get roughly to a 22-degree angle. If you get lost, you could always put your fingers underneath the blade. That's about the steepness you want. Always check. You should be right on the skin. There should be no meat left. When we skin, we're going to have our fish at the edge of the table. I'm going to work from tail to head. I'm going to use my chef knife, and I'm going to angle it at about a 22-degree angle, which I also refer to as fingernail angle. With my fingers down, knife tip rests on it. And I'm going to wiggle the skin and wiggle the knife simultaneously. That allows me to decrease the friction. The skin comes off effortlessly, and so does the fillet. Once again, tip in the tail, get down to the skin, consistently check. You may notice I keep choking up on the skin and my hand is always behind the blade. That gives me more control when starting off. Some people like to use their fillet knife, and in the industry, one day I would recommend you do it yourself. But until that point in time, until you have really good fine motor skills, the chef knife will be your best friend. It bounces around a lot less. It's a more sturdy surface. And for many of you, you're more used to holding your chef knife through all the classes you've come through so far than using your fillet knife, which is the first time in here. We'll match up our quarter fillets from the ventral side and our dorsal side, and then we'll sheet pan this up, and we'll send it off to the kitchens that are going to use it. Thanks a lot for coming.